Epic's triggers. A simple real-life example is if we were working as a cashier at a gas station and someone comes in, gives us their license, or we're not sure if they're over the age of 21 or under 21 because they're trying to buy liquor. So what do? We swipe their license, and before we sell them anything, a message pops up and says, oops, under 21 cannot sell. And that is basically what a trigger does. Epic's triggers are like store procedures which execute when a particular event occurs. A trigger executes before and after an event occurs on a record. So the execution of the trigger could happen following any of those events: insert, update, delete, merge, upsert, or undelete any of those events that happens for a record that we have. So let's take our first example for a trigger. Suppose we received a business requirement that we need to create an invoice record when customer status field changes to active from inactive. For this, we will create a trigger on Epic's customer object by following these steps. Step 1, go to the S object. Step 2, let's click on the customer. Step 3, click on the new button in the trigger related list and add the trigger code that we have on our screen. Trigger.new, as we're looking at the code, is the context variable which stores the records currently in the trigger context, either being inserted or updated. In this case, the variable has customer objects records which have been updated. There are other context variables which are available in the context trigger.old, trigger.newMap, and trigger.oldMap. Now let's move to trigger example number 2. This trigger will execute when there is an update operation on the customer record. Suppose the invoice record needs to be inserted only when the customer status changes from inactive to active, and not every time. For this, we can use another context variable, trigger.oldMap, which will store the key as record ID and the value as old record values. We have used the trigger.oldMap variable, which, as explained earlier, is a context variable which stores the ID and old value of records which are being updated. This is an example of a very basic simple trigger which fires before you insert an account and writes a message to the debug log. Number 1, in the developer console, click File, then New, then Epic's trigger. Number 2, enter Hello World trigger for the trigger name and then select Account for the object. Click Submit. Number 3, let's replace the default code with the following code that we have. Number 4, to save, press Ctrl S, the shortcut. Number 5, to test the trigger, create an account and then click Debug, open, execute anonymous window, and then in the new window add the following and then click Execute. Finally, step number 6, in the debug log, find the Hello World statement,